Minnesota isn't the only team that's going to be playing a big non-conference game outside of USC and LSU on Sunday night before USC and LSU on Sunday night. How about big noon Saturday? The Penn State Nittany Lions traveling to take on the West Virginia Mountaineers. There has been a lot of back and forth between the Nittany Lion and Mountaineer fan bases online. Well, one fan base is going to be right, and the other one is going to be a little bit wrong in this one. And I'm excited to really find out exactly how Penn State is going to match up against the West Virginia Mountaineers. Because when I really start to break this football game down, a big storyline for me is that West Virginia run game. Neil Brown's Mountaineers, man, this is a team that can run the football. They've got a three-headed monster in the backfield, which of course includes their quarterback, Garrett Greene. Jaheim White, C.J. Donaldson, and Garrett Greene combined for over 2,400 yards and 28 touchdowns last season. That's the big matchup, because when you look at West Virginia through the air, they lose their top target at wide receiver, and Garrett Greene, fun fact, Garrett Greene completes the same amount of passes as Ethan Kaliak-Manis did last season at Minnesota. Just 54% through the air. I feel great about Penn State's defensive backs matching up with what West Virginia has in the pass game, which I think means the Nittany Lions are going to be able to move more towards the line of scrimmage to stop this run game. I feel very confident. You know, a lot of people talk about Danny Dennis Sutton and Abdul Carter off the edge in terms of pass rush situations. I think their speed and their quickness to get down the line of scrimmage is also going to be a factor in this game as well. I think although West Virginia returns a lot of experience on their offensive line, I think it's going to be a tough matchup for the Mountaineers up front. Really, when I look at this entire matchup between Penn State and West Virginia, one phrase just sticks into my head and I can't get it out. It's a good Big 12 team versus a great Big 10 team. And I think you're going to see the difference. Look, West Virginia is a team that 1 out of 10 that can contend for that Big 12 championship this year. I firmly believe that. But I think you're going to see the depth. I think you're going to see the depth of talent on display within this football game. Let's talk about Penn State offensively here for just a minute. Now, there's been a lot of flack thrown at Drew Allar, right? Of course, he didn't play the best, and that could be for many reasons, but he did not play the best in the big games last season. Michigan, Ohio State, of course, being the ones that everybody circles. But he had a really good stat line as a first-year starting quarterback. Now, his best game last season may have come against these West Virginia Mountaineers. If you look at how Drew Allar threw the football, 21 of 29, 325 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Of course, they were able to stretch the field early on. Keandre Lambert-Smith, that big touchdown pass to really start things off in that matchup. And I think Drew Allar could have some similar success throwing the football. And I think if I'm Andy Kotelnicki, and if I'm Penn State drawing up a game plan for this one, I want to try to test West Virginia through the air. West Virginia had a better run defense last year than they did a pass defense. Pass defense, they were about middle of the pack last season in the Big 12. And I want to get Julian Fleming going. I want to get Harrison Wallace going, who had 7 catches and 72 yards against the Mountaineers last year. I want to get Tyler Warren going. Look, a lot of people might look to the X and the Z out there at wide receiver, but I think Tyler Warren could have a really big game. I think he's a matchup nightmare for this West Virginia defense. I really do. Now that Theo Johnson is out of the way, I think Tyler Warren is going to rise to the occasion. I think Tyler Warren can be one of the best tight ends in the Big Ten, meaning he can be one of the best tight ends in college football. I really believe that. He put up some really good numbers last season. I think he could really burst onto the scene. I think week 1 is a place, certainly, for him to do it. So, test this secondary early. See what you got. See where Drew Allar is within this Andy Kotelnicki scheme. I think you got players that can stretch the field. I think you got players that can beat West Virginia deep. And then I think what that's going to do is it's going to open up some run lanes. It's going to open things up for Nicholas Singleton. It's going to open things up for Katron Allen. It's going to get less guys in the box if you can have success throwing the football down the field. I know West Virginia went to the transfer portal, getting a couple of Northwestern Wildcats, right? Jaheim Joseph, Garnett Hollis Jr. transferred in. So they tried to go to the portal to get some guys to help out. I don't really see a ton of guys in the portal on this team in that West Virginia secondary that's, made a super significant upgrade where all of a sudden I can say, well, I don't know. Even though Penn State, right, isn't exactly the best wide receiver room in the Big Ten, I think that they can have success in this football game. I think they're going to come up to the line of scrimmage defensively. I think they're going to slow down this run game. Now, West Virginia could have a little bit of success early on. Yeah, I could see this game being fairly close early in this matchup, and then when you get later on, like when you get past halftime, new coordinators on offense, new coordinator on defense for Penn State. Once they're able to kind of get in the locker room, figure things out, in a 60-minute game, I just don't see West Virginia going toe-to-toe, tick for tack with a team like Penn State. There's a reason why Penn State is ranked the place that they're at. Like, West Virginia is a Big 12 championship contender. Penn State is a college football playoff contender. And then I mentioned the good Big 12 versus great Big 10. I think you're going to see the difference as this game goes on. In the end, I just think too many matchups favor the Penn State Nittany Lions. In the end, I just think the Nittany Lions are just too skilled. I think over a 60-minute game, this one certainly favors Penn State, but I think they could be tested early on in this matchup against West Virginia on the road in Morgantown.
Thanks for watching Big Ten TED, where it's all Big Ten all year long. Make sure to like the video to spread the word of Big Ten TED to the masses, and subscribe to the channel for updates on Big Ten content that drops every day.